Hello and welcome to Tech Forum Online. My name is Lily Dwyer. I'm the product manager for sales data and library data here at BookNet Canada. And today I'm going to be talking about what's new in sales data and library data. So before we get started, BookNet Canada acknowledges that its operations are remote and our colleagues contribute their work from the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Wyandot, the Mi'kmaq, the Ojibwa of Fort William First Nation, the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, which includes the Ojibwa, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi, and the Métis, the original nations and peoples of the lands we now call Beaton, Brampton, Guelph, Halifax, Thunder Bay, Toronto, Vaughan, and Windsor. We encourage you to visit the nativeland.ca website to learn more about the peoples whose land you are joining from today. Moreover, BookNet endorses the calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada and supports an ongoing shift from gatekeeping to space making in the book industry. So, sales data and library data, in case you're unaware, are reporting tools that allow retailers, publishers, libraries, and other members of the book industry to access sales, inventory, and circulation data from retailers and libraries across Canada. So, if you're interested in finding out more about this, you can check us out at booknetcanada.ca. And then for those of you who are already familiar with sales data and library data and are heavy users of our products, welcome back. We'll be going through an update on what the past year has held for sales data and library data and what we're planning for the future. So on the day I'm recording this, we're not quite at the end of the fiscal year, but so far our users have run 290,636 reports on the sales data and library data platform. So that's over 1,100 reports per business day so far this year. And on a weekly basis, users received 1,373 scheduled reports by using the platform's report automation feature. So that saves users collectively about 45 hours each week. And just for a little more math, that all adds up to about 2,380 hours each year, or about 68 full weeks of full-time work saved for the industry through automated reporting. Or if you're looking to measure that time in a different unit of measure, that's enough time to rewatch every episode of Gilmore Girls 21 times, which is a lot of time. But of course, if you're not ready to jump back into your favorite nostalgia TV series, we at least hope that you'll have that time back to keep engaging in the business of selling, publishing, circulating, or connecting readers to books. So where is all the data powering these reports coming from? This year, we picked up over 20 new reporting retailers from coast to coast, which brings our total up to 287 retailers. To support reporting from our retailer partners, we have integrations built for 9 different point of sale systems, and our data processing supports many others that aren't listed here. So we currently support Book Manager, Lightspeed, Nebraska, Latex, Shopify, Square, BG3000, WordStock, WooCommerce, and then this year we're very excited to announce that we are also now supporting GiveX. So if your store is supporting any of these POS systems that you see listed here, and you're not currently reporting into sales data, please reach out to us and we will work with you to begin reporting. And also, if your store is not using these POS systems, don't worry. We would be happy to discuss reporting options with you. And you can drop us a line at salesdata@booknetcanada.ca to get started. So our library data, on the other hand, comes from 82 libraries with over 757 branches across the country. So here are some of them, and we're adding more as time goes on. We're really excited to have so many amazing libraries working with us. Currently, we have integrations built for 6 ILS systems with 2 more on the way. We currently integrate well with Evergreen, Horizon, Infor vSmart, Koha, Polaris, and Symphony. And aside from that, we're also working on reporting with Insignia, and we have a new integration that's currently in testing with Sierra. So on that note, if you use Sierra version 6.3, and if you have been waiting to participate in library data, please get in touch with us at librarydata@booknetcanada.ca, and we'll work with you to get started on reporting into library data. We are actively looking for libraries to test with, so please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And also, if your library is not using any of these ILSs, you can reach out to us anyway. We really look forward to working with you and your ILS to get your data on board. So I thought I would also mention our Lone Stars program. So libraries contributing to library data also have their stats counted towards our Lone Stars program, which relies on data provided by libraries across Canada to inform a data-driven list of the top books that are ordered by Canadian libraries. So if you're interested in more information about that, you can check out my colleague Kalpna's presentation on Lone Stars. The Lone Stars lists are a great place to find out what library staff from coast to coast are ordering for their library collections. Okay, so let's get into what's been added as new features in sales data and library data over the past year. Up first is the incorporation of age range data into sales data. So this was a feature request that we received from a lot of our users in advisory group sessions, as well as our customer satisfaction surveys, especially from those who publish a lot in the children's subject areas. So we've added new display options across all our title level reports, where users can add columns for lower age, upper age, as well as audience data. So those have been added to the bestseller, the multi-ISBN, the gap analysis, popular books, collection gaps, and bestseller SIC reports. And then further along down the roadmap, we also aim to update our search functionality to include those data points as search criteria and filtering as well. But also part of this work, we updated our report bibliographic errors form so that users, if they are noticing that there are issues with the data, they can update age range data to correct that in sales data. So once users have made their changes through that corrections form and they hit send, then that correction will be submitted to the sales data's bibliographic team for review. And then we will follow up with Backer Books and Print, who provides our bibliographic data, to ensure that the corrections are handled appropriately. You may have also noticed that we've also enforced a download-only option for some reports. And that would be in instances where you're pulling a report with a custom reporting period that spans 208 weeks or more. So please note that this applies to the following reports only, and that would be the bestseller, gap analysis, collection gaps, and bestseller circ report. So this means that you will no longer be able to pull these reports in the UI, but you instead have to download them directly to your computer from the report criteria page by clicking download email now. And that's just to ensure that sales data users have a smooth experience when pulling reports with us. And on that note, we continue to monitor the overall performance of the sales data and library data websites. So if you notice that there are certain reports that take kind of a while for you to pull, please let us know and we can see what we can do to clean that up a bit. In regards to more recent additional features in sales data, we are very happy to announce that we are now, as of March 2025, also incorporating page count data. So, like age range, this is another common request that we've heard from our users in recent years, especially those who are interested in using page count to find comparable titles. So, we've added page count as a search filter across all title level reports in sales data and library data, and users can input either a minimum or a maximum page count value, or both, to narrow down their search results even further. And of course, in addition to the new search filters, users can also add page count as an optional column to their reports as well. And as part of that release to incorporate page count data, we also made some small changes to our sorting logic in sales data. So for context, users have always been able to sort all the columns in their report results either in ascending or descending order. However, we've noticed that the sorting rules weren't always consistent across all of our reports. So, for example, the unit sold column in reports would send in descending order in some reports by default on the first click, while in other reports, the same column would sort in ascending order after the first click. So in this case, we clean this up so that the unit sold column sorts in descending order on the first click across all reports. So we know that even tiny changes like that can make a huge difference in your own daily workflows. So we're very excited about this one as well. This past year, we've also added new features to our internal admin tool, which allows the sales data team to better support retailers that are reporting Shopify, Square, WooCommerce, and Lightspeed POS data to us. So for some context, when setting up new retailers with these POS types in the sales data system, there are certain data elements that the retailer needs to send us in order for us to set up the API connection with the new store. And previously, we would need someone from our developer team to then input that information into our database in the backend. It wasn't something we could do ourselves. So this could lead to delays in setting up new retailers, depending on the developer's workload that week. And then this also in turn would take up developer time needed for other projects, such as adding new features into sales data that are requested by our own users. So with the new improvements, we can now add those data points ourselves without developer intervention using our own interface. And in addition, before, if we ever had issues with the API connection, we ourselves had no visibility into what might be causing those issues. So in those cases, again, we would need to go to our developers to investigate everything in the back end and let us know when was the last time there was a successful API connection. So to address that, we added new fields, which allows us to confirm when we last successfully connected with the store's API and when we last received a sales file for an inventory file from them. So I know that's a lot of information, but just kind of in summary of all of that, after these updates, we, the sales data team, can now seamlessly onboard new retailers in one continuous workflow without developer intervention. We also have better insight into issues with the store's API connection, and we can also more easily identify any reporting gaps across all retailers using these POS types. Okay, so now I'm going to give you sort of a brief sneak peek into what's next on the roadmap for sales data and library data. One top priority that the sales data team has for 2025 is regarding processing improvements. So this work will allow, it will involve updates to our internal admin tool again, this time covering the functionality that allows us to carry out processing for sales data each week. And to provide some background information on that, when we receive weekly POS data each week from retailers, we don't automatically push that data to the live sales data website. Instead, we take the time to manually review that to make sure that there aren't any issues with the data. So this review is really pivotal to make sure that we're providing high quality data to users. And we've identified a few tweaks that we can make that will improve that process. So those improvements will aid the sales data team in preventing bad data from getting in and identifying reporting gaps. And again, all with less developer intervention. And another thing we really want to do this year is to make improvements to the workflow around download-only sales data reports. So this has been sort of a hot topic in recent advisory group sessions that we've had. So some improvements that we would like to make in that regards would be allowing users to more easily customize columns for download-only reports, and also allowing users to save download-only reports in their My Reports folder. And we know that these workflow tweaks would really go a long way in making your workday easier. So we're hoping to include these changes in an upcoming sales data release cycle. Of course, we always have lots of interesting ideas in the can, and most of those ideas for how we can improve sales data and library data comes from you, our users. So please do let us know what would make your life easier and what sort of data that you really wish you had in your hands, and we will do our best to help you. Like all BookNet products, our future development is driven by stakeholder feedback, so please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you and how we can make your work in 2025 and beyond easier and more data-driven. If you have feedback or questions, please email us at data@booknetcanada.ca, and you can also find us online at booknetcanada.ca. We really would love to hear from you and hear your ideas for how we can continue improving these tools for the future. So that's everything for today. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.